Hello and welcome aboard my vessel, the Princess Arianna. This vessel has been my pride and joy since we purchased it in 2004. When you enter the vessel, the very first thing you see is the rather spacious, full-width nav station, looking out upon our recently cleaned and caulked teak decks. Looking aft from the nav station, we have the galley up configuration. The galley up has proven to be wonderfully valuable as our galley looks out over the main salon. When we have had many a happy party aboard, this has been a focal point for me to serve our guests, participate in the conversation, and also it is a wonderful location for bringing food both to the upper and lower decks. Now, one of my favorite parts of the boat is the main salon. The main salon is spacious, has large windows that let you look out in all directions, has access to the marble top bar and the galley. Again, here we are looking aft into the main salon. The main salon is spacious and very well appointed. Back in the main salon again, we note that to starboard is another staircase, another spiral staircase. The staircase with brass railing leads down to the owner's cabin. The owner's cabin is a wonderfully spacious, cabin with a queen-size bed, an extremely large hanging locker, mirrors on either side, port access to the back of the boat, a desk sitting area, and the captain's head. From the starboard side of the nav station, we can follow the spiral staircase down to the lower salon. The lower salon has proven to be a wonderful location for us in this boat. It has office space, plenty of storage, a settee, but we largely use the lower salon as what we call the kids' salon. It was a place for our children to play, spread out their toys, and have fun, while the adults were enjoying the comforts of the upper salon. Forward of the forward salon is one of the 3 cabins on board, this being the smallest of the cabins, having bunk beds, its own head, and integral shower. Here I am looking back up the same steps toward the nav station, panning downward to the lowered salon, and looking aft toward what is called the VIP cabin. The VIP cabin has a queen-size bed, a Pullman berth, a substantial hanging locker, and access to the ship's laundry room. We move aft from the main salon to the sun deck. The sun deck having teak floors, a beautifully varnished table, a full enclosure, ladder to the upper deck, and a standalone bar and wine cooler. We have spent many a happy hour enjoying sunsets in the evening on our stern deck. The aft deck has a wing door that opens out onto the side walkway. There's a wing door on both sides, and we can follow the side walkway up to the forward deck. The railings on the vessel have been varnished and are covered except for when the vessel is in use. Here we are standing on the anchor pulpit, looking back across the spacious bow and up toward the flybridge, which we will shortly be visiting. From the nav station, we can climb a staircase, which takes us to the upper deck. We've oftentimes referred to this as the party deck because we've had many wonderful parties on board. Note the crane, the inflatable, the large settee, the beautiful teak decks, the second settee, and moving forward takes us to the second nav station. An incredible, spectacular view of the water and the lower decks. Separating the guest cabins from the master cabin is the engine room. Now, I hate to admit it, but the engine room may be one of my favorite places aboard this boat. The engines are 8V92s, naturally aspirated Detroit diesels, Allison transmissions. There's an 8K Onan and an 18K Onan generator. We have controls, or rather the hydraulic system for the Naiad stabilizers, tank tender gauges. We have fuel filter vacuum gauge for each of the engines. To port and starboard, we have fuel tanks. Each engine has its own set of mechanical gauges, which are a good check for the electrical gauges found at both the nav stations. If you're considering cruising, this vessel has a full dual pump fuel transfer and polishing system that allows you to move fuel from one tank to another. Allows you to filter and clean the fuel as you move it. Since we've had the vessel, we've upgraded the electrical system significantly. We have added a 5 kilowatt inverter, which we use underway in place of the generator. You will note that there are considerable spares available. Also added to the boat since we purchased it was a bow thruster. We have had Detroit Diesel come on board and check out both engines. I had the injectors done in 2005. After I brought the boat down to San Diego, I piloted the boat myself from Vancouver to San Diego. Boat performed beautifully. Each engine has a large separate Raycor filter. Each generator has its own smaller Raycor filter. This concludes our tour of the Princess Arianna. I want to thank you for coming aboard, for giving me the opportunity to share my beautiful and fine vessel with you, and I most certainly hope that you've enjoyed the tour.